Hariom.
Hello.
I just have muted everybody. It will be best like this because otherwise we have too much background noise. So when anybody who wants to talk, please unmute yourself. And when you finish talking, mute again. So we have less background noise. Now, so we start here. I see Manuela. Hello, Manuela. Hariom, 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 everybody. So, do you have any question, Manuela?
So, let me think. Maybe I would like to share something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as you probably know, I was stuck in Goa, and the situation in Goa was like during the shutdown, we didn't get any food anymore. Some of the guest house owner kicked tourists out, so it was not a pleasant situation. And on one side, I felt really pushing to my limits. And just going into trust and going into not having fear, trusting whatever happens. But on the other side, I really got angry about the Indian government. So, oops, where are you? And yeah, so actually, I don't know, I couldn't get rid of this anger, you know, and then I thought, okay, whatever happened, happened, but I still struggled with that is all expression of consciousness. This I know on one side, but on the other side, I got really into anger, into the body-mind system anger. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yes. I think everybody knows anger.
Yeah, but I mean, do you know what I just wanted to describe? So was that clear or?
Yes.
Okay.
And now, you just wanted to share that, or you
Yeah,
wanted
I mean,
to?
actually, you know, I wanted to share it, but I asked myself, even if I know mentally this is all expression of consciousness, everything.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling with it, you know, still my body-mind system becomes stronger, who is fighting against this kind of behavior, you know? So means the expression of consciousness, which I know mentally wasn't really an experience, let's say that.
Yes. Yes. Of course, we have our own ideas how things should be, how things should go. And so many times it doesn't go the way we want it. And then you have to decide in the situation, is it something? Can I do something about it? And if you think you can do something about it, you can try. But if you see it's a situation I cannot do anything about it, then just learn to surrender. Okay, even if you think it's totally wrong, you're resisting against the fact that it is as it is not going to improve that situation at all. So when there is something happening and you know you cannot change it, then instead of struggling with the situation and turn it round and round in your head, then let your anger come, but then bring your attention back to yourself and see how that anger is manifesting, what it is doing to you right now in your body, energetically, and learn to relax, because being resisting against the situation you cannot change is only making you more and more miserable. It's not going to help anything, the situation. Can I quick in between tell newcomers, please mute yourself so we don't have background background noise. And only when one wants to talk, please unmute. Manuela, have you heard? Do you want to add anything? Okay. Is there anybody who wants to say something? Please talk.
Hey there. Hi, Werner.
Yeah.
This is
Hello.
Uli.
Ah.
Oh,
Hello.
Hi. I just want to say the best advice I got from you was just relax.
Just relax.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We should remember that a lot in our life.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to.
And
We go
yeah.
we go
Sorry.
through our life most of the time full of tensions, not even being aware that we are keeping those tensions, and that makes everything so much more difficult.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Also, we made it home just. Was a bit of a struggle,
Yeah.
but I always remembered your words. Just relax. So we got stuck in Delhi for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Which is not a very nice place to be at the lockdown, but we made it out. And when it has an outcome like this, it's an adventure and not a drama.
Mm.
I can say too, like I was observing myself and I feel this quietness inside me. And I feel like that is all a dream, like nothing happened. And then I was observing, is that ignorant, I should do something or think something, but I couldn't because this quietness is like nothing happened.
Maybe the best you could do is what you did, do nothing.
Yeah. Of course, we went into private quarantine once we came home, and we enjoyed it.
We're still enjoying.
Still enjoying it. Yeah, it was relaxing.
With not doing anything, maybe you have not changed the situation, but definitely you didn't make it worse. Most of the time, when there is a tense situation and we try to do so many things, then we just do it, make something, we do things that makes it worse.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll mute again. Because sorry. So is there anybody else who wants to talk? I again muted everybody, so you have to unmute if you want to talk.
Werner, I would like to ask you about the struggling that existed inside of me between knowing the silence that can be inside of us and the very noises environment that we are exposed now to that. How we can move between this eager for the silence and the noise that is surround me.
And the noise that you find in your mind or that you find outside?
No, in my mind, I know that I need the silence. I can see the silence, but
yes,
my body is exposed to so much noises from outside that I had the feeling that I'm working in order to build some fence against it, and it's need a lot of energy.
Right. Actually, we are spending lots and lots of energy going with the noise. It helps. And now, of course, in your medical profession, it's not so easy to find time for yourself, but it helps if in spite of that, you find every day some time where you are doing nothing else, where you can just keep quiet and do nothing and put your undivided attention as good as you can, simply to consciously be here now and relaxing. If you do that every day, then it's like creating a base that makes it easier to remember when you are busy and when you are in the midst of action. And then, as long as you don't remember, you cannot do anything. But the moment you remember, at that moment, you just for a moment stop and you relax into that as good as you can. And even if you stay only a very short moment, that moment is very precious. And if you do it again and again, gradually this collects its own momentum, its own force, that it becomes, with the time, with the practice, it becomes easier and easier to be aware of the silence in spite of the noise that is going on. That actually you are aware of the noise only because there is the silence.
And can you elaborate a little bit more about the feeling of compassion in these days?
Compassion.
Yes, in these days.
Yes. Of course, compassion is a tricky subject all the time. Because people often gravely misunderstand compassion. Then when the neighbor suffers, then people feel, it's so terrible, and think it's compassion then when we are also feeling terrible about it. But actually, this is not compassion. It's just we're seeing something terrible and then we start to feel terrible ourselves. And without being aware, instead of compassion, it becomes self-pity that we have to confront this situation. So compassion, real compassion is that you learn to be centered in your being. And when you are centered in your being, then you are also centered in your well-being, because naturally you are happy. Naturally, you are never suffering. And the more you are capable to stay centered in your own well-being, the more you are capable to help people simply by your presence, simply by seeing their suffering and then not being pulled in their suffering and make their suffering worse, but in spite of that, remain centered in your own well-being, then something very beautiful flows through you and helps the other people, even if they are not aware of it. You can express it in your actions, or you cannot do anything about it. Both is okay. For some people, they are very active and they have to express it and do a lot of things outside, and for others, they don't do much and still they radiate such a force and such a compassion that it helps many people even if they don't know it and they don't get the positive feedback from the world around. So compassion doesn't mean that we should start to feel bad. It doesn't help anyone. We just increase the negativity in the world if we start to feel bad. Compassion means that we are capable of staying as centered as possible here now, in our own being, in our own well-being, in that joyousness of existence. And then be aware of all that is happening, be aware of the sadness, of the pain, of the suffering, without being distracted from being aware that in reality, you are always joyous. It's not something we have to create. It's an aspect of existence. And the more you are capable of being centered in that, the more your very existence becomes compassionate, because you radiate something that others can get nourished from.
Thank you.
Shall we ask somebody else? Are you satisfied for the moment? Okay, is there anyone who would like to talk? just unmute yourself. Hello? Oh, there we are still.
Hi, Werner. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello?
Hello.
Namaste.
Good to see you. So obviously with what's happening these days, a lot of our plans of what we were supposed to do over the next few months with work is all shifted and cancelled. And so we're obviously in a time of change, and we're exposed to different options or opportunities of what to do. And maybe if you could say a few words about how to find out what is the right thing to do now, how to feel if one way is the right way to put our energy into right now.
Anyhow, everybody now has to stay home and you cannot do much. a very good way to spend this time that you have now suddenly extra. To find ways not to dissipate your attention all over the place, but you bring it back to the present. Be conscious, consciously here now, consciously conscious. And then actually the external actions, they will come all by themselves. We can make all kinds of plans, and as everybody sees right now, all those plans are getting upset. If they manifest, fine, but if they don't manifest, also fine. It's not so much that in every situation there is only one way which is right and all the other ways they are wrong. We have the tendency to think so. We have to find the ideal, the perfect way and not waste any time. But most of the time it is not that important whether we go rather this way or that way. Most of the time it's not so important what we decide. But what makes a great difference whether we go through our life and what we are doing half asleep, or whether we remind ourselves to be alert here, now. And even if sometimes then we make decisions of which we after that think, oh, that was not so fortunate, so what? Then we are richer for the experience, and from there we reorient and go ahead. So don't try too much to find the perfect solution, how to go left or right or up or down, but rather remind yourself, no matter what you're doing, be here, be now, be conscious, be consciously conscious. Whenever you remember, as long as you don't remember, you can do. But as soon as you remember, just bring the attention to the present and relax in that, dive into that. And then let the external things spontaneously take their place. You can make plans, it's nothing wrong, but it's good to be open. Maybe they manifest, maybe they don't manifest. If you have that openness, then there's nothing wrong in planning. If we are getting obsessed with our ideas, what we should do, then every time it doesn't function the way we want, then we are all unsettled about it. But it's much more important how you are doing things than so much what you are doing. Whether you are just going through life, somehow being pushed along just by the forces of life, half asleep, and having just little moments of intense joy where there is awareness, or intense pain where there is awareness, and the rest of the time we just somehow survive. If you learn to remind yourself to bring the attention to the present, then there is that intensity more and more in every moment, and your life simply becomes beautiful and a creative expression of your inner beauty. And then from there, you just playfully choose what you are doing, not being afraid that maybe I'm doing the wrong, maybe I'm doing the wrong. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Anybody wants to unmute and say something? Well,
Master.
there is somebody.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, it's Victor. I met you a while ago, actually 2.5 months ago.
I'm not getting your picture. Are you having your picture?
Hang on. Is that my picture now?
There you are. Now I see you.
Okay, here we go. Okay, thank you. I'll take my glasses off.
Yes. You came here to Tiruvannamalai.
The words, I was there. I was there at a satsang that you held on the last Tuesday before I left, end of February.
Yes.
I got away. The words you were saying about compassion really got to me. It sunk deeply. All I want to share, it's not a question that I have, it's just that Arunachala saved my life when I was in Tiruvannamalai. I nearly got run over by a bus. I don't know why I wasn't hit in the head. I survived. And now that I'm here in Australia, alive and okay, I can only thank, it's not just the energy of Arunachala, but your presence in that last week that I spent there, Werner, was incredibly important to me. And your words that you were just talking about, compassion, is what I try to carry with me every day in my work here with my colleagues, to share that kind of life energy. And all I want to do is share with you this moment. And you inspired me immensely when I met you, beyond belief. I want to share this with everybody. That's all. I get that. I understand that.
Very good. And now you are in Australia and everything is fine.
Well, we're here under lockdown.
Yes.
But that's okay. For me, it's not a problem.
Yeah,
it's not a problem. I look at I see the bats eating my guavas and my trees in my backyard, and I enjoy them, and I enjoy all the insects. I just wanted to share this with you, Werner, because the energy that you impacted on me was so profound, and just listening to your words right now gives me an incredible amount of strength. And I want to share that with everybody who may be listening. This prana, beautiful life, the compassion you were talking about is a compassion I felt coming from your words, and I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But that strength that you are feeling, it's not something that I have given you. Somehow, when we met, it has triggered it in yourself, but it's your own strength. You have all the strength in yourself. Yes.
That's exactly what you told me on that day.
Yeah.
You said to me, Werner, it's inside of you, you said to me.
Yeah, great. Then
And,
you have
and
invited. That's great.
I've been bitten by that beautiful insight that you've given me. Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste.
You may hear in the background a bit rumbling, so a thunderstorm may come. I hope it's not going heavy, because otherwise we are risking that my internet connection will be cut off. As long as it goes, we are continuing. Is there anybody else who would like to talk? You're welcome.
Werner, can I talk to you?
Yes.
Hi. Hi.
Ah, hello.
Hi. Hi. Could you talk a bit more about this? What touches me most is this thing about fighting with what is, because I'm here at my mom's house, and
Yes.
we're in isolation. But my mom also has Alzheimer's. My brother's with a third stroke. He's not going to use arms or his legs, and I'm taking this on. So I have three things.
Yeah.
And there's a huge fight in me to kind of not accept kind of destiny of being a carer, but on top of the COVID-19 fears and everything. So what touched me was when you said, stop fighting. It's not what you do, it's how you are when you live your life. Yeah, could you speak a bit more about this?
Right. Anyhow, now you decided, you went specially back from here to there to be with your mom. You knew what is waiting for you. And then, of course, in the midst of it, often it may not be so pleasant, and then the reaction comes, what am I doing? But anyhow, even if you resist, you're still going to stay there, and you're going to do that. So by all means, the best you can do is to totally accept this is now what is on the program. And the better you can accept, the more you will find it's not a problem. It's not a big deal. Okay, you may work quite a lot. You serve your brother, you serve your mother, and there's not a lot of external difficulties because of the lockdown and the virus, and everybody is panicking around. But if you're somehow getting around to accept, then it stops being a heavy burden. Then everything becomes play. Then you become aware more again. You're just playing a role in this world. That person you are thinking you are is just a role you are playing in this theater. So play your role. And for the time being, in this chapter, it seems that you are doing exactly what you are doing now. And the more you resist, the more it becomes a big, big burden. And the more you can accept it, the more it becomes simply play, no matter what. Even if often it needs a lot of effort. Even often you must do things that you don't appreciate to do, that are not pleasant to do. If you are not resisting, then you can feel a joyousness bubbling up in you in spite of unpleasant circumstances, in spite of unpleasant things that you have to do. Are you still here, Helen? Because since a while I cannot see you. Ah, now I see you again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It resonates very much, very much. Yeah.
I wish you really well. Stick it out there, because you choose to go there, and then do it full-heartedly. And when this, the mind will work like this. And sometimes it will come and will resist, and I don't want, and why, and so. But when you feel these reactions come, then let them come, but just observe. Don't get too much interested in the context of what is going on in the mind, but simply observe what the mind is doing, what kind of emotions that are coming up. Observe those emotions, see what they are doing to your body, see what they are doing to you energetically, and relax. And then tell yourself, okay, I choose to be here now, so why should I waste my energy resisting against the flow, resisting against the situation? And the more you can accept it again, then even if a wave of emotion comes again and you want to struggle against, but then you see it, you watch it, it comes, it has a peak, you let it go, and you're fine again. Okay.
Thank you. That is exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you.
Let's you. Is there anybody who would like to talk? You just have to unmute yourself and talk.
Hello?
Hello? I hear somebody, I don't see somebody.
Yeah, here's Shalita, but I'm not handling this technique. So I better stop and
Anyhow, I
listen.
can hear you. If you want to talk, it doesn't matter if I can see you.
No, for me, it's really just amazing, yeah, to see you, to be with you after, I think, more than 3 years. And so I'm very thankful to be here. That's it.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Hari Om.
I wish you well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oops. I don't know exactly what I did here. Lalita. Okay, I somehow have to find my way back. Oh, there I am.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Again,
Noor here.
Hello, Noor. Now I see you. Hello, Noor.
How are you?
Oh, good, good. Do you have anything you would like to say?
Yeah. Initially, I was feeling locked out and locked in and in a jail, but now I have decided to accept this jail that I'm in, where I can't move out. And my brain and my mind and the monkey in the mind is playing a lot of games. So I'm getting bored and trying to do this and trying to do that and, wondering how to do. And I think this may be happening to a lot of people in Tirumalai, where I am right now. And especially the foreigners are a little bit more in a difficult situation because of the way the local people may be doing things, which is also not correct. So I was wondering what your views on this is and what you would do if you were in my shoes, in the sense that I'm Indian and I go and meet the people. I go to Satya, I go in the city to the superstore and to the other places, trying to help whoever I can help. So that's what's happening with me.
Yeah, that's very nice of you. But I rather would say to the foreigners who are there, don't get into that mood that it's difficult and dangerous, because I have been going out a few times, but I have gone out with a good mood and confidence, and absolutely nobody was in any way not unpleasant to me. I mean, it can happen, but the more we are in that mood and think, oh, maybe the people are not happy that we are here now, the more we attract after that something negative is going to happen. So go out happily with confidence, radiate confidence. And if you can help some people to develop that more, then fine. But actually, you cannot go and change their mind and their way of doing. So do the best you can yourself, know that you are at peace, at ease, as good as you can. And then if you meet people, of course, from a nice distance, if you have to now, then you can help them to develop that confidence also. And when so much of the problems that are going on now is because we create those problems in our mind. Of course, there are people, especially in places like here, they live from day to day from their daily wages, and if they cannot go to work, it's difficult for them. But still, the main difficulties that is creating after that troubles amongst the people is that we are creating difficulties in ourselves and make the situation worse and carry that burden of this feeling, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible with us, and then everything becomes more terrible. So go on as you do, Noor. You're doing fine. Don't give in too much to the monkey of the mind.
Thank you. No, what I did yesterday, day before, I met some of these people and I said, you should try and wear a mask and be social space distancing amongst yourselves also, because they were all together and talking in their language, French, German, Russian, whatever they talk. And I was trying to explain to them to try and listen to the protocols and behave in a proper way that most other Indians are behaving. So I think that message also has to go.
Yes, that is good. It's better not to unnecessarily provoke by behaving in ways that others are, of course, reacting to.
Okay. The other question I have is, a lot of people, like at least I am, getting bored. So I watch a lot of Netflix, do a little bit of yoga, go a little bit out and do some exercise just to keep healthy and eat better food. So what do you suggest we do during this lockout period? What should I be doing?
Well, I'm not going to give you a list of possibilities, what you can do now. Do what, if you have things that you have always pushed away and thought, once when I have time, I'll do them, then if you can, do them. Those things that always have been hanging there. And you can, from where you are, you can go out to the lakes and have your walk there. So do this kind of stuff that helps you to keep quiet. But if in between you want to watch Netflix, then watch Netflix. Try whatever you are doing to do it consciously, not to be half asleep when you're doing it. And even when you're watching a movie, remember once in a while to be here, to be now. Watch your feelings, watch your reactions to the movie instead of getting completely lost. And then do your exercises and do your meditations. And the time suddenly passes quickly. You could do a lot more and still would not know boredom.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Very old.
Werner, I have a question. I see that in this time, my presence is dependent on the action of other people. They can work together with me in the surrounding, and sometimes are disturbing my presence. What should I think about that?
It's not really them that are disturbing. It's a program in your mind that reacts to them that is disturbing. The best way is that we learn to accept people totally the way they are. We have the standards for ourselves. We may see things in ourselves that we don't like and work on it, that we are improving them. But this is for ourselves. And the best way of dealing with people is, even if they are not the way we like them to be, even if they are obnoxious, that we somehow learn to accept them. Okay, they are the way they are. From their knowledge, from their perspective, they seem to be perfectly all right. And all the others are not all right. And somehow they have to learn in their shoes, in their situation, how they, with their conditioning, whatever lessons they have to learn. And we cannot change them, really. If somebody comes and asks us, what can I do? Can you help me? Then, of course, you can give advice and you can help the people along on the way to maybe let go of certain things that create only problems. But if they are not ready, then you have to just accept, okay, they are the way they are. And the more you can accept them the way they are, the less you feel disturbed by them, the less you feel disturbed in your peace. But then you know, okay, this one comes along, so you're already ready for the kind of thing that may happen, and then when it happens, it's not a big deal. Like when you are on the road, you see vehicles coming, and you are not resisting against every car that comes, and there is a truck, and why should a truck come? So you let the cars come, you let the trucks come, and you adjust that they are not doing any harm to you. In the same way, you deal with people. They are there the way they are. And if it's not necessary that you need to confront them, and then you can also make a bow around them. But often we cannot do that, and then, okay, then we are okay with the situation that there are people that are nervous, that pull us out, they're behaving unpleasant, and then we feel disturbed by in our inner peace. But it's not that we have to work on them. It's the more you can remember in that situation, okay, they are the way they are. Let them be the way they are. Just relax in the situation, even if it's unpleasant, even if it's uncomfortable. And then you will find there is a core in you which is never affected by any of these things that are happening outside. The more you can connect with that, the more you can find your peace in any situation.
Okay, and this is the same as we should do with accepting what the future will bring to us?
I mean, the future is something that is simply hanging. There is only one point where you are touching reality. That is now. All else is in the mind. The past is just a memory. It doesn't exist except as a memory. The future is a possibility. It's in the mind, an expectation that we are creating out of the past. It's hanging there, but here, now, there's something so totally special. Here, now, it's alive. It's a totally different category. Here, now, it's real. All else is in the mind. And so, the best you can possibly do for your future is to live in the present and let the future come and deal with the future when it's present.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the same time, as I said already before, if there are ideas for making plans, if you have ideas you would like to manifest in your life, you can make plans, but keep them light. Don't get obsessed with them. Keep them as a possibility If they manifest, fine, but if they don't manifest, it's also fine. It's nothing wrong thinking about the future, but what makes the present heavy is that we are forgetting about the present, and are obsessed about the future, about ideas that we want to manifest or fears of things that could manifest that we don't want. And the more we have that, the more our precious energy is being wasted in something that doesn't exist, missing completely the beauty of the now. Live here now. Here you are touching that bubbling life, that bubbling beauty of existence, and only here now, nowhere else.
Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, my old friend. Hello.
I'm enjoying, I'm watching. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing quite well. And how are you doing over there in America? It must be totally early in the morning in your place, huh?
It's 6:15 a.m.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, you're Eastern time, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything well?
Everything well. We are having the grace of being a bit outside on the country. So actually, except that sometimes I have to go out and shopping. Otherwise, we are just peacefully doing whatever we have to do here.
Same thing.
Yeah, very good.
Doing what's done every day. No difference.
Do you want to contribute any wise words to this satsang?
I think we all need to contemplate, based on what's happening now, the idea that this is what happens when we become completely out of balance with nature.
Yes.
And we end up eating ourselves. You understand.
Yes.
So we shall see.
We shall see. Yes. Everybody can contribute, and especially now in a situation that nobody has expected, that somehow interferes with everybody's plans, with everybody's day-to-day life. Now we have a chance as a whole, as humanity, to rethink our situation, to learn to see things a bit differently. And everybody counts, everybody contributes. Whatever we are radiating is going into the common mental sphere, and it's manifesting in nature. As you said, we are disconnected from nature. If we are more connected with our nature, then automatically we are connected with nature. So this is a chance for everybody to use that time wisely, to become more self-aware, become more aware of that joyousness of existence and radiate it. If many people would do that, the whole climate around the planet would start to change.
Yes, it would.
Yes, it would.
What gets in the way? What gets in the way of this joy that always radiates within? It's always fear. It's always separation and doership. I don't have to tell you that. Everyone's afraid. As you say, calm down. Everyone has to calm down.
Yeah.
Yes? Where'd you go?
Okay, Vyasa, I wish you well.
May I say something, Werner?
Yes.
Can I say something, Werner? It's Victor here again. I just
Yes.
wanted to say this to everybody. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Hari Om, can you also show yourself? I don't see. We don't see you.
Werner, you still there?
Yes, I'm still. Now I see.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you. No, somebody else. But
I
I
just
don't
wanted
know.
to say Namah Shivaya.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Om Namah Shivaya. Vyasan, wish you well.
Same to you.
Radiate, continue radiating, my friend.
You too,
Bye-bye.
my friend. Namah Shivaya. I'll keep watching. I'll keep watching.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else would like to say something? Hello. There you are again.
Hello, Werner. This is Mariano from Buenos Aires.
Hello, Mariano.
How are you? We met 1 year ago. I just wanted to know if you can talk a little bit more about this fear and how, not about coronavirus, but in general, this fear that blocks this thing that radiates within us. Oh, that thing that was talking Vyasa. How to deal with this fear that blocks every time this sensation of being, this happiness.
Right. Actually, all the fears, the root of it is always fear of death. Everybody is afraid of dying in this world. There is one thing certain: when we are in this world, there comes the moment when it's all over. And underneath, there is so much fear about that. And all the other fears, they are somehow connected. Because also fears for change in our life or for losing money is like, one feels it's like little deaths that we are going through. Now, I will tell you two things. First, how to deal with fear when fear is there, no matter what, whether it's now because of the coronavirus or it's fear of anything else. When you become aware of fear, then most of the time there is immediately a block and we struggle with it. Or then we get totally overwhelmed. Once you get totally overwhelmed, you have to first come out before you can do something about it. But most of the time when fear comes, then we struggle with it. We don't, but we feel it's an unpleasant situation, it's an unpleasant emotion, and we somehow fight with it, but fighting with the fear, then the fear also becomes stronger. Mm-hmm. So when the fear comes, when the emotion comes, then let it come. Accept, okay. And instead of being hooked totally in your mind to the reason that brought that fear about, bring the attention back to the present experience and just let the fear come. And for some time, be really afraid and feel that emotion, feel that energy of being afraid. Start on the easiest level. See how it is affecting your body. See how the body has the tendency to get all cramped up from the legs to the head. And then when you see that, because most of the time people that are afraid, they are all cramped, but have no idea how cramped they are. And if you watch it, if you see it, then you can start, instead of fighting with the fear, just to start to relax your body. Relax your legs, relax your feet, and the whole rest of the body starts to relax. And the more you relax your body, the more the emotions, the energies also start to relax. And then you watch the emotion, it's there for some time, it has a peak and it goes and it doesn't leave a trace. Now the base of the fear is the fear of death. And why are we so afraid of it? Because in our mind, we are clinging to the known. We know, we think we know what we are. We know I'm this person, I'm that person, but it's not what we are, but that is our known daily experience and we cling to it. And then there is that fear of the unknown, simply because it's beyond our experience and we don't know whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, whether it's heaven or hell. And so there is that fear. But there, I can tell you, without a little bit of a doubt, there is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Dying is nothing terrible. Dying is getting out of a game where we have been struggling for some time, and it's a big relief. Dying is totally safe. There's nothing to be afraid of. But of course, I can tell you this. I cannot prove this to you, but maybe my words help you to relax about it. And when you relax about the fear of death, then it's also easier to deal with the other fears. But still, fear will sometimes come as an emotion. As long as we are living here in a human form, in a human body, the whole range of emotion is there as a potential, as a possibility. There's nothing wrong. It's enriching the life. What is the trouble is that the emotions, they're getting completely out of their place. The emotions naturally, they are like waves, they come, they go, and they don't leave traces. And then if the emotions are on such a level, then you can deal with any emotion and actually even enjoy any emotion. But then the emotions, because they are totally out of proportions, they become bigger and bigger and they sweep us away. So we have to learn to deal with emotions in a more natural way, instead of struggling with them all the time and making them bigger and bigger. Just when an emotion comes, watch it, accept it, see what it is doing to your experience right now, physically, energetically, emotionally, intellectually, and relax. And then it's not difficult. Then actually fear is not the problem. Fear, when we're not struggling against it, it's a very pleasant emotion.
Thank you, Werner. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish you well. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to talk?
Werner?
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Question. If dying is such a relief, why is people who understand it doesn't choose to die?
Because we have chosen to come and live in this world, and it's precious. We are going out of this life much richer than what we came into this life. Essentially, you are that divinity, and that doesn't change. But in that divinity, that you are there as a being, and that being is getting richer for the experience with every moment. When I say you are a being, then I don't mean the person that we usually think we are. Then I think that you are that divine being, and you choose to come into this world to learn, to grow, to outgrow this level. And once you become aware that dying is not the problem, then living also is not the problem anymore.
Okay.
I can tell you there were periods in my life I thought I can't anymore. I can't. I don't want to live any longer. Anything else must be better than here. And I felt like I just want to get the hell out of this life. But it was just my own mind creating all this resistance with my mind, with my situation, with what is happening in the world, and creating all those tensions that life seemed to be unbearable. And then gradually this disappeared, and finally it went completely. And then the question of naturally wanting to get out of this life also disappeared. But at the same time also completely the fear of getting out. When the time is right, when the time comes, then it will be so easy as going from one room to another. Is your question answered? You want to say something more about it?
Thank you.
Thank you. You have been recently here? No?
Yes.
Yes, yes. I don't see you very clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Israel.
Oh, yes. Now I see. Yeah, right. You're back in Israel.
What?
You're in Israel now.
Yeah. I'm in Israel.
Yeah.
At home.
And there also you have lockdown and you have to stay home.
Yeah, all of us at home. Most of us at home.
Yes. So I wish you a good and fruitful time there.
Thank you, Werner. Thank you for the satsang. It's such precious for us. Please do it more. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we shall see. I think so. Anybody else would like to say something?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
You?
I saw quite. Oh, now I see you again.
Yeah?
Hello. Oh,
Okay.
now I see you.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, I don't know if it's very clear what I want to say. It could go all over the place. But yeah, I'm just resonating so much with everything you've been saying, and
now I'm having interference with your sound. I couldn't get it anymore.
Oh, I've been hearing you really well though. Is that better?
There were just strange sounds, so I couldn't follow what you said. So can you say it once again?
It's plugged in, maybe that. No, is that better? Oh, there's a ringing.
Do you have a micro? Do you have a second microphone near your device? So it's coupling back. Anyhow, try to tell again. Maybe I can follow.
Well, yeah. I wish I had a very clear thing to go quick. I'm going to try to. Do you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I've been so much observing about how it was all a creation of the mind, and I've tried to kind of escape the heat of feeling 3 weeks ago and go to Himachal Pradesh and just close the border.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not getting it again. I'm not getting it again. I'm very sorry.
Okay, maybe it's not meant to be.
Do you have a headphone you can connect to your device? Maybe then it goes better.
Or like, you mean talking through headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that better for you?
Oh, yes. I'm hearing you better. I can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay. So, yes, I was just saying about how it's been so obvious in this last 2 weeks of quarantine, how it's just such an amazing display of my mind. You know, I tried to escape not to escape, but to go and spend some months in Himachal Pradesh. And they closed the border just as I arrived there, and then decided to come back to Tiru. So that's where I am now. And I manifested an amazing house and everything. I can feel like I'm bathing in grace, and everything is just so perfect as it is, and I'm in the right place. And yet this all these narratives and the the French family and friends telling me, you know, I should really try to escape India as soon as possible and all this, and I'm calming them down and then trying to question myself, am I being naive? And you know, but deep down it's just all quite perfect. And yet I can feel because of all these narratives, all this questioning coming constantly in my head and trying to keep me busy, because there's not so much activity outside, trying to keep me busy with some mental stories. And I can, do you hear me? You still there?
Yes, I hear you wonderfully now.
Great,
Since you
great.
have your headphones.
Okay. And I can feel how when I go back to the witness, and there's just, it's just so obvious, you know, this display of my mind and the world, whatever is playing right now, you know, it's quite incredible. And then I feel this constantly, though, this pull, there's always this distance, you know, and I can't really rest as the self. There is the self, and then the witnessing, and then this narratives, and it keeps being like a ping pong games that can be sometimes quite exhausting. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, yes. I
so
think
what
7
can you
billion
tell
other
me?
people have also that.
So how can you help me rest as the self more?
Yeah. Try to bring a bit a playful mood into it. Don't think too much. Now I should witness, and then I should be in control, and I should everything get straight immediately. But more okay, in a playful mood you go about it. That for moments you may a bit force little moments, and then just relax again, and as good as possible just watch. If you can bring a lighter mood into it, then you don't feel it's using much of energy. In contrary, the more you are capable of witnessing, the more you become aware there is an aspect in you which is not involved in all this. That's why you can witness. There is an aspect that is like a rock, unmoved by any of that stuff that is happening outside in the world, or that is happening in your mind. There's something so totally solid. And if you witness, you put the attention in that direction, because you are capable of witnessing, because that witnessing is happening all the time. It's not that you start to witness, you simply put the attention on something that is anyhow happening. But if we make it into a duty and think, now I have to witness, and it's a heavy duty, so my mind is going round and I have to witness. With that heavy mood, it's getting very difficult. But if you can bring a playful mood into it, then for moments it goes very smoothly, wonderful. Then you get completely lost again. Then when you become aware how much you have been going all over the place and you have not been aware of it, then don't spend your time scolding yourself, punishing yourself, telling yourself, oh, I don't do well, but okay, got me again, out I was, but now you're back. And relax, 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 relax. For heaven's sake, relax. It is that relaxing that makes everything different. If we go about things, even our so-called spiritual work, our spiritual attempt, if we go about it all cramped, then everything becomes a heavy duty. If we remember to relax, no matter what, relax as good as we can, then everything becomes more playful. And also the spiritual practices, the spiritual work becomes more playful. Seeing that monkey mind going here and there, instead of identifying and think, oh, I'm bad that I'm thinking so much, then you think, oh, it's amazing what that monkey can do, but becoming more and more aware, no matter what that monkey does, you are not really affected by it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hello.
Werner. That was very helpful.
Good. I wish you well. And I think you listen to your heart and not to the other people. I think it's a beautiful place to be stuck in
Yes.
Tiruvannamalai.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. I agree. Thank you.
Hariyo, hariyo. I'm hearing something, but not. Hello?
Werner?
Ah, hello.
Hello. Hi, Werner. Nice to see you.
Hello. Nice to see you.
It's
Is there
very
something
nice.
you would like to tell us?
Yeah, I'm here in Israel. I haven't been in Tiru for I think 4 or 5 years.
You're Guy, huh?
Guy, yeah.
Yes, right. I remember you. Yeah.
I remember you too. I'm feeling quite relaxed in this time. It feels almost like the world has joined me into kind of a normal rhythm, what is for me normal. I feel almost so relaxed that I don't know, maybe I have a question about meditation. It feels almost like not wanting to meditate, like there's some kind of other relaxation going on. Maybe if you have something to say about that.
So, did I understand properly? You don't feel like meditating?
Yeah, I meditate, but a little bit, not so much.
Yeah. Well, it depends what one understands with the word meditation. It's not simply when you're sitting cross-legged with closed eyes on the floor that it's meditation. That's one way to go about it, but really meditation means to bring the attention back to the self and learn to relax in it. That is meditation. And if you do that in your action, then you learn to meditate in your action. And if you feel like not to sit much now, then maybe it's not the time to sit much. Since you are a meditator, you have been meditating since years, I would recommend you don't give it up completely. Have still your time where you are sitting down. But if you don't feel like doing that much, then try to meditate as good as you can when you are not officially meditating. That when you are busy, to remind yourself to be here, to be now, to feel that sense of presence, to experience that sense of presence, to be that sense of presence, and learn to relax in that. Then basically you're meditating all the time.
Okay, yeah.
It was very instructive for me the last few years, because basically that's my natural thing, to like to sit quietly, to meditate. And I have been doing for years and years not much else than that. And then the last years, when we were living here, the circumstances arranged themselves in such a way that I was much externally busy. And somehow that was very good learning experience for me, to not to resist against the fact that I'm busy, and learn to accept whatever is happening and let that natural meditation go on as if I was sitting and meditating. And so if you are not feeling like sitting, don't press yourself to sit a lot. Just try not to give it up completely and meditate as good as you can, no matter what you are doing. When you are walking, when you are sitting, when you are lying, when you are alone, when you are talking, when you are on the internet. After all, nobody is now really alone because we can connect on the internet all the time. But learn to be aware whenever you remember, as good as you can, of being consciously conscious, consciously alive. Here now. And relax in that. Then you still there, guy?
Yeah, I lost you for a second, but I'm here.
Ah, yeah. That's it. Now you can see and hear again. Okay. Anything more you would like to say?
No, thank you very much.
I wish you well. Maybe one day again in Tiruvannamalai. Maybe. Adios. Adios.
Hi, Werner.
Hello. I hear a voice. I don't see a picture. Ah, there I see. Hello.
I'm here in Hawaii, and I too am feeling deeply peaceful during this time. And I don't have a question other than, do you have your dog there with you?
Yes, I have just one dog who came now here. The other one was up here. Just wait a minute. Come check me. Jasmine, hello.
Oh, Lord, that makes me happy.
She's not afraid of people when they are on the net. Only when they are
Oh, lovely. Thank you, and thank you for doing this. And I hope to see you again.
You're anytime welcome.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Werner.
Hello, Hari Om.
Hello.
Hello. I hear you.
Can
I don't
you
see you.
Hear me?
Oh, now I see you. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Kyla. Now
Hi.
I lost the picture again. Now I see you again. Hello. How are you doing?
Hi. Good.
Good, good.
Greetings from Singapore.
You are in Singapore?
I just wanted to say hi before my battery. Yes, I'm in Singapore. Hard to believe. Huh?
Hard to believe.
I left. I had to leave India very quickly and suddenly. Actually, about 2.5 weeks ago. I was actually in Dharamsala, and not for very long. In fact, I had just arrived in India, a few days before from Thailand, and then when I reached Dharamsala, things just went very, very quickly downhill. They were going into lockdown, and buses and flights and everything was soon going to be cancelled even. So I just had to leave very fast. So I left India, flew out of Delhi actually on the 20th, and since then I've been in Singapore at my mother's place, and this is the longest period of time that I've been staying here since the last century. Not kidding. And it's a very unusual experience for me. Yeah, I'm feeling a kind of a strange mixture of gratitude and resentment at the same time. Gratitude. Well, when I arrived in Singapore at first, it was gratitude for being able to leave India probably on one of the last flights actually before they stopped all the international flights. So that was gratitude, but then I'm not used to staying in Singapore, at my mother's place for such a long time, for more than 2 weeks. And for me, the one very big challenge, because I had to be in a strict home quarantine for 2 weeks when I arrived. I couldn't even step out of my mother's small apartment. And just across the road, I mean, this is the mother of all concrete jungles, Right now, I'm actually at a different place. I managed to sneak out and come to a place with some green. This is not where I'm staying. It's just a small park nearby. And so just across the road from where I've been staying, there's been a lot of construction work. And they are building like 3 massive skyscrapers. So constant grinding, relentless construction work, for 12 hours a day from 8 in the morning until 8 at night, 6 days a week. And that was really driving me almost insane, for 2 whole weeks I had to put up with that. So the frustration and resentment really started to build. So, yeah, I mean, finally it was probably more resentment than gratitude. The gratitudes slowly started melting away. But anyway, now at least my 2 weeks of home quarantine is finished. So I can sort of step out, and officially, the country is in lockdown. But there seems to be some kind of a gray area as to how they actually apply it. So I can actually step outside, and I guess if the police catch me, I can just say I'm exercising, I can just start doing a sun salutation or something. So, so that's the situation. I don't really have any question. I just wanted to say hi to you. I think it's been nearly probably around 5 years since we last saw each other.
I think so. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And of course, I didn't want to bring the 6 kids that I've had since I last saw you. So yeah. So yeah. Anyway, do you have anything to say maybe about this unusual mix of gratitude and resentment?
Most of the time, our emotions are like this. They are not so clear and often contradictory. That the one hand that and the other hand that. But if you see it, then you can get detached from it. And especially now you're marooned there in a place where you don't really want to be, where it's noisy. But of course, the more you resist the fact that it is as it is, the bigger it becomes, the more overwhelming it becomes. And maybe if it's getting too much, you can change place. But if it's clear that you don't change place in the near future, then try as good as you can to accept, okay, it's noisy. If you can full-heartedly accept instead of telling yourself, oh, it's getting on my nerves, it's getting on my nerves. If you full-heartedly can accept, okay, that's the situation, it's not what I would choose if I can choose, but there I am. If you don't resist, then it becomes much easier to bear. I can tell you, but of course I've chosen that situation myself, but when I was in my little cave in the midst of Amma's ashram, It wasn't a silent retreat, but I was in a little, tiny little room without moving around in the middle of an ashram that was growing, and so there was continuously construction noises and a lot of other noises. And I've learned to so totally live with that I simply screened it out. It wasn't not there when I didn't want it to be there.
Okay. So construction noise even in a cave, huh?
Yeah. But I chose the situation, so it's not that you really choose to be there, but the situation has arranged itself like that. So better try to just use your energy instead of fighting the fact that it is as it is, to totally accept. And then even nasty noises stop having an effect on you. The more you are capable of doing that, acceptance and relaxing.
Thank you, Werner. And it's great also to see so many familiar faces here. I just want to say hi to everybody that I know. So, yeah, thank you, and I hope to see you again in person one day back in Tiru.
Yes, I guess so. You are always welcome. Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om. Bye.
Lalita Devi, since a long time your hand is up. Do you want to say something? Then please just unmute and say. But maybe you just wanted to put the hand up.
I don't know what to do. What should I do?
You mean right now, or you mean with your life?
No, I can see you now very well, and I can listen to all of you.
Yeah, and I see your hand, but I don't. I mean the picture hand, but I don't see your picture.
Yeah, I don't know what to do to see the picture. You have any idea?
What are you on? A phone?
Mobile.
Mobile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Wait a minute. What's this?
Okay, so I shall. But how to?
Yes. If you tap on your screen,
yes,
then there are little signs on the bottom, and the second is a camera. So tap on the camera. And if you tap on that camera, maybe after that I can see. Anyhow, never mind. Then we don't see you, but we can hear you. Hello, Lalita.
This hand I see, but I don't know how to finish it.
How it? Never mind. So we see your head there. Did you want to say something?
Hari Om, Werner.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Just a minute. Lalita, did you want to say something, Lalita?
No, it's fine. I just really want to listen. It's so, yeah. Pleased to be with you. Thank you.
Okay. Then please come back here too, friends.
Hari Om, Werner. Very good being back on your rooftop.
Oh, now the second door came. This is Leo. Now both have said hello.
Nice.
Hello. You are in Kerala, huh?
Yes. And Hari Om to everybody. I understand everybody is watching and listening to us now. So such a good family, very good family feeling. But I want to ask you now about this conspiracy that is going around with the 5G. They say that 5G is somehow connected to this coronavirus thing, and I don't see any connection, but many people do. So you are the master. Please, what's your take on it?
Look, I don't know.
Okay.
I think that there are powers in the world that try to grab more power. That's just the unfortunate way many humans are working. But then I have heard so many different contradictory theories about conspiracies, and I never really got into any one of them. All that stuff may be there, but then I look at my situation where I live. Can I do something about it? No, it's not my job to. If I felt it was my job, then I would dig and dig and dig and be a journalist or try to bring things up. And some people, that's their job and they have to do it. But my job is not at all this. So I really don't put my mind on that, because these are facts I cannot directly change. I cannot directly influence. But what I can do, no matter what they are doing, in spite of all the stuff that is going on in the world, I can be firmly rooted in my own well-being and radiate that. And I would recommend and encourage everybody to do that instead of worrying about conspiracies or whether they are doing this or doing that. The more humans are really learning to be in harmony with themselves, the more they radiate something into this nature, into this world that is influencing the whole planet, that things start to change. And even power mad people who want more power, then suddenly if the mass of people are not more playing along with them, they can't do anything. Things will change. What we can change is how we are experiencing everything. That we can change. We can work on that and do something about it. So I recommend you and everybody to focus on that. If somebody feels it's their job, they have to go and they have to uncover things, fine. I applaud them, but it's not many people's job, and the others, I would recommend not to worry about it, but to work on themselves. In that way, they really do something to influence the whole climate of this world in a positive and creative way.
Yes, but and along with that, there is another conspiracy theory that says that Earth is already changing into 5D, you know, instead of 5G. That means 5-dimensional status or something. What's your take on that?
On the 5G, on the new 5G thing.
5D, 5-dimensional.
Oh, no, you're talking 5D, not 5G.
No, 5G first, now 5D. You know, it's still 5.
Oh, 5-dimensional. 5-dimensional.
Yeah.
I can assure you, if we really would shift our attention from the 3-dimensional way of thinking to the 5-dimensional way of thinking, all those problems would not be there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Hariom.
It's not a 5-dimensional conspiration.
Thank you. Thank you.
The problems that we are facing, that are in the world, is because we are so totally locked in this 3-dimensional way of experiencing, thinking, feeling, and acting. If you're getting your attention elevated to a 5th dimension, then this kind of problems that we are producing now won't be there.
There might be others.
It might be
other problems then.
Other problems, I mean, the 5th dimension is not the end of the story. But don't worry about those. Not this kind of destructive, ridiculous problems that we are creating as humans. That won't be there.
Okay, thank you. Hari Om.
Greetings to Leo and Jasmine, and we love you so much.
Yeah. You are in Kerala, aren't you? Huh?
Yes,
you are still in Kerala.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Wish you a good time over there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Werner.
Oh, Lutz. Hello, Lutz. Haven't seen you for a long time.
Yes, I'm in Berlin and I'm quite well. I had some health problems, but they subsided somehow. And I was also facing the kind of fear wave aspect of the virus hysteria. And for some time I was caught up in it. But somehow it kind of died down, although we are still not kind of beyond it. It's still cooking here, and hospitals are gradually filling up a bit. But in my case, I'm a little bit outside of it, and I'm living in a suburb, and I feel quite well. And the lockdown isn't that strict here, so I can go out and enjoy myself in the forest, or maybe if it gets warmer, even take a bath in the lake. So yeah, for me it's no problem. And financially, the government hopefully will take care of me. So it's not so kind of it's actually a kind of a good situation for me, because I feel I can really look deeper into myself and maybe make some plans for the future, or just be in the now and let from there grow some different future. One thing I think which has not been spoken about yet in our little satsang so far was the or is the virus itself, somehow how we can kind of relate to it. I mean, it's also part of nature. It has maybe also something to teach us. And maybe there's a way to relate to it in a way, for example, of not getting it. And maybe there's some kind of spiritual vaccine in order to stay healthy. So also I'm thinking a little bit of yeah, some kind of method, what you recommend or what you do by yourself. Maybe you just accept whatever you are and you are just in your focus on your existence and that's it. But maybe also you do something besides doing something good to your body, give you kind of good food or something like that. That's I mean that's obvious. But in order to strengthen the immune system, but maybe also we can kind of do also something which helps to keep this kind of strange alien intruder in our bodies, keep it at a distance, or not let it kind of start to enter our system and do its play.
Okay. Well, I cannot give you a method that after that will be a guarantee that you're never going to catch that virus. But definitely, the less you are getting into that panic that everybody has so easily now, the more you make yourself immune to it. Because the more you get panicked, the more you are opening up to that and attracting it. And also your internal balance will get disturbed. the more you can be in the present, be conscious, relax, the more you are immune to any attack of any disease, but it's never a guarantee that it doesn't come. So even when you get infected, if you are not getting a panic, then relax and accept that the infection is there, then maybe it doesn't do much harm. Many people get infected and there's not big manifestation and they get cured again. Now you ask whether I'm doing something special. I haven't started to do something special since that virus story, but I do something special also on this level, on this physical level, but it helps on all the levels. I'm every day spending a moment connecting with the sun. And I'm opening up to the sun and thank the sun that he is filling this body with life and light and joy. And this fills the system physically, energetically, emotionally, intellectually. It does something. I'm doing this since years, every day for a moment. I'm connecting with the sun, and it's a very good exercise on all the levels. And then I'm doing a second thing, and this is a tip I got from a young Swiss mystic, from Christina, that I'm also, anyhow, I did that, but without doing that consciously, that I barefooted stand on the earth every day. Look, now of course I have a very easy situation. I can just walk around in the garden and I connect with Mother Earth. And I connect really with a being, that this being standing on the earth and this being earth, that they communicate. And I thank the earth and I ask the earth to unload into this body whatever is needed to keep it healthy. That means all kinds of minerals and trace elements. The earth is ready to give just like this, without, you don't have to take all these tons of supplements that people are taking now. You can walk on the earth and consciously open to the earth and thank the earth for it. And the earth is a mother, she loves us all, and she will download it in your body to make your body stronger and healthier. So these are the two things that I'm doing, on top of the fact that anyhow, the more you are at ease, the more you are at peace, the less you are inviting diseases. But still, sometimes it may happen, and then it happens and you deal with it as good as you can.
Hariom, beautiful. I've learned sun gazing from somebody who learned it from a yogi in India, so I can relate to that. And I'm doing it also a little at times. And I have heard about Christina von Dryen's remark about the taking up of nutrients from the earth, but I haven't done that. I heard it, and from what I have practiced before, I relate it actually to the earth more as a kind of a dumping place. That means that you feel the connection with the earth, and you give over all your burdens and things to the earth, and kind of offer it to her, because she has a kind of the power to deal with it and to do something with it, rather than me keeping it in myself and keeping it in my system as a body. That's some kind of attitude one can have. But if one approaches the earth the other way around, that one asks the energy of the earth to kind of nourish oneself. That's also very beautiful, and I think yeah, that's really nice. Sounds very nice, and I will try it out.
And, yes, and you can do the other also, not exactly, I wouldn't call it a dumping ground, but just tell the earth, okay, please take away, because the earth can easily deal with your tensions that you're unnecessarily carrying along. But at the same time, you can also open up that you directly get something from the earth. She's a beautiful, beautiful being, no matter how we are treating her. Okay, Lutz, I wish you well.
Thank you.
Hi, Werner.
Hello.
Hey. My name is Carsten. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and now I see you. Yeah.
So we haven't met in person, but I'm good friends with Manuela and Lutz. They just visited you a short while ago.
Yes.
So my question is, it has a lot to do with action, you know, because you talked about it, and I think, you know, I totally agree with you that you know, happiness is found inside of ourselves. Yeah. But then sometimes, in my experience, that also gets to a point where there's not much action, you know, and that's why I think I love what you're doing, because to me, one thing is that people who work or have interest in spirituality and maybe get to a point, you know, where they do understand things better, that there is not so much action then anymore, you know, because what you said is because you radiate it. But what is great about, you know, even what we do, or what we're doing, especially what we're doing now, is that, you know, you do radiate it out more into the world. And
yes,
in my experience, though, people of power and of money, they like to get dirty, you know, so they fight for having more money, more power. But how do you, because where is the spiritual world? I mean, where are the people who are interested in spirituality? And is it not time to put more action into the world and maybe fight for what, you know, what we think the world should look like?
That's the usual way of thinking, that we have to go out and fight, and so the fight continues forever and ever and ever. You have to fight. The real enemies are in our own mind. You have to fight whatever is preventing you from being at ease, at peace with yourself. And then your actions start to talk for themselves. And some people, for them, it's natural to be very inactive and they won't act much. And for other people, it's very natural to be active. And then they will go out and act, but it's not that we have a certain now must of external action in order to change something. It's not coming from that level. It's when people change, then the atmosphere changes, and then everything starts to change. But if you spontaneously feel like doing something to express whatever you are experiencing inside, then that is a good thing to do. But it's not that you have to go out and fight the dark forces. Simply be a light and the darkness will disappear all by itself. Where the light is coming, then the darkness has to flee. It's not that we have to go now as soldiers of the light, go out and fight and to wage our war against the dark forces.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. You know, what I mainly mean is like, you know, like, is it still, well, what you're saying is basically, if you feel like acting, then you act, and if you don't feel like acting, you don't act. But in my experience, I just see that people who are interested in power and money are much more willing to act than people who might not be interested in these kinds of things.
Right. That looks like this, but still, their action and their level of influence is superficial. If more people would start to not being interested in that direction, but really being interested in truth, in harmony, in peace, in the light, then somehow they become less and less effective. The thing is that they are so effective because they're somehow getting the support from many, many people who are not actively doing something about it, but somehow accept that things are the way they are and that the power is the way it is. And that's just how the world works. The whole world, the world is not as real as it appears. It is crystallized, it's a crystallized magic show, and it is held together by all the human minds that think about it constantly. And it can function on its level and the way it's functioning because so many human minds keep on functioning like that.
Yeah.
And if we are, and there is a great awakening all over the planet of people who feel it's time to function differently. And the more people who really open up to that, open up to being more vast and being more light and being more in harmony with truth, then this will slowly create a force that gradually change the climate of the planet. I don't know how much time it takes, but the direction goes in that way.
Okay, thank you.
If you feel acting on it and expressing your inner beauty with action, by all means act. But if you don't feel, then you don't have to push yourself thinking it's your duty to act and put it into action. It should come naturally from within a joyous manifestation, expression of what is happening inside.
Yeah, just in my experience, when people are happy, they don't really feel like acting as much anymore. That's what so then it goes both ways, I guess.
Yeah, it goes both ways. If you are happy and then you feel happy to express it, then express it. But even if without you expressing it, it's expressing it itself. It's anyhow radiating and doing its job.
Okay, thank you, Werner.
Okay, my friends. Slowly, we're getting towards the end of our today's satsang.